Bailar, trabajo. In etapa, no. Si arregla todo, Dejamos acá y después. A ver, fíjate que sí, sí, sí. Algo bueno, para el ¿Dónde son los? Sí. Ah, You're close. You want to speak instead of me? No. Yeah. We begin now. Everyone, and this afternoon it's a bit easier for me in English. The sun has been shining too hard because we're still missing some of the sailors that and apparently they're mooring up and coming up. We decided to start anyway. I think you were waiting long enough and we should start. Many of you were already here this morning. So this morning event was in Spanish only for In the first edition, we had 16 entries and 9 nationalities. For the second edition, we expect in excess of 20 starters and international participation. And so far, we have 23 entries representing 14 nationalities, which is really great to see with a truly global public, with nationalities that are sometimes not seen in other events, making it more accessible. The event focuses on sustainability through a budget-friendly sailing solo around the world, something that many sailors feel like created a gap in terms of the ability to participate. natural resources, and even the management of the event. We try to focus on it's an event that carries risk, obviously, and our skippers have to face them on their own in the open oceans. Therefore, safety is of paramount importance. Boats have to meet very strict safety standards and are monitored. So the first edition of the event was held in Marina Coruña, and we decided to move to Vigo because Coruña presented a few challenges with winter weather and the ability of the public to watch the starts and the arrivals. So because past the breakwater, effectively the sea is quite open and subject to bad weather. And thanks to the assistance of the Cofradia Europea della Vela, we started talks with the Real Club Nautico de Vigo, with Antonio Portela, and eventually we decided to move the event here. Now the president is no longer Antonio Portela, it's Tone Perez, whom we've met this morning. And the setting here in the Ria Bajas is perfect because the protection of the islands allow us to have a body of water that is safe to navigate for the starts and the finishes, including the participation of the public. the departure started at the end of August, all the way till mid-October. And we faced risk sinking with a very complicated rescue and other abandonments due to other technical issues, just highlighting how difficult it is to begin and finish a circumnavigation of this kind. There were four non-starters, Dimov, Peter Burke, Kurt Morlock, and Falcon from Turkey. And after this, we will move on to celebrate those that did start in 2023. Juan Meredith, and we would like to call him up here to talk about his participation in 2023, 2024, also knowing that he will be a participant in the next edition of the race. Juan, can you come here? Hola.
Cantar. You want that I sing?
Yes.
¿Qué quieres que
È una canzone in coreano.
coreano? ¿Qué quieres que cante?
¿Cómo se passé de tu primera edición? ¿Qué te portó en la situación que desafortunadamente te retiraste en el principio de la regata? Pero esto fue un problema de manco de presupuesto y de tiempo por prepararse, imagino.
Pues sí, básicamente era falta de presupuesto, falta de preparación, no nunca consideré que me haya retirado, sobre todo porque yo mismo después de un tiempo pude capacitar el que ha pasado, al final renaces, la resiliencia es importante y el poder decir que pelear, esto es duro, hay que y hay que más
Después entregamos.
No posts. No posts. Yeah. Post the latest. But it's it's
Well, literally, that doesn't work in every country.
no.
I've never together enough time.
What's the word?
One of the aspects of Daffyd campaign that I think is his legacy in this event is the fact that he showed that a low budget campaign where effort is put in with your own hands, your own man hours is not only possible, but many look up to Daffyd today as an inspiration. And I think his achievement in this race is, as I said, a legacy despite retiring in Hobart. And that's why I decided to create this award for Inspirational Campaign Award. Thank you, David. And your poster signed by your friend.
Thank you.
And yourself. Thank you, David. Someone that found out what might happen if going further into the Pacific, was William McBrien, and he had an incident near Point Nemo, and his rescue was certainly one of the most stressful parts of the entire event, because there were cross communication problems with the satellite phone. We didn't exactly know what was happening to him, and the whole situation uh, was really, really tough for us following him and on William. But luckily, he was rescued eventually safely. And but he always reminds every other participant that things can go wrong. This is his boat at the time of rescue, barely afloat. Luckily, the watertight bulkheads allowed him to wait inside the boat until this moment. And then, as he left and opened the last of the bulkheads that was protecting him in the aft cabin, starboard, the boat obviously started flooding even further. Um, so he survived. The water was at 7 degrees, so not really a nice place to be. Uh, but it's the reality of what can happen, and how brave the people that attempt this race really are. Now, Ronnie, please come on stage. So, Ronnie, you retired a little bit further than that. How far did you make it into the race before you had a problem? Microphone.
Yeah, I'm about 80, almost 80% through the race when I was hired. So I was I think 10 days past Cape Horn or something when my mask broke.
Uh, sorry. We had the photo of him rounding Cape Horn. So he rounded Cape Horn. He had rounded all the three Great Capes. He was sailing back in the South Atlantic, headed to warm waters, and there was a last big storm in the South Atlantic that he had to face. And then suddenly, and it wasn't the storm yet, so for no apparent reason, his mast came down when the boat landed off a wave, but not specifically big wave compared to everything he had already seen sailing around the world. And that suddenly transformed itself in a very complicated and messy situation, because the mast was hitting the hull and was threatening to cause a water ingress. And in 24, 36 hours, it was due to face a force 7 to 8 or more, actually, storm with 7-meter waves. And he had to take a very, very tough decision whether to stay with the boat, knowing that he had very little time to secure it against the mast banging against the hull. And he consulted with his own friends, people, team, I don't know exactly, and made, or perhaps personally, you made the call that the safest for you was to abandon the boat. Tell us about it.
Yeah, couple details are a little bit different. When the mast broke, and it was actually within quite an intense low pressure depression coming off of South America. So I was going upwind in really horrendous conditions in horrendous sea state, 3 reefs in a storm jib at 40 knots when the rig broke. And then, unfortunately, I believe it was actually the biggest system of the entire race. I think Andrea, Francois, and Ricardo will tell you more because they went through that system. But yeah, really, really huge weather system. Like you said, a day behind me, and with no rig in the boat, I did not feel it was safe. I chose to find another day. I really thought there was a good chance I wouldn't make it through that system with no rig in the boat. So I did manage to get rescued. Even that was quite an ordeal and quite a challenge. But yeah, thanks to Marco, but also friends back home that work with the U.S. Coast Guard and with the U.S. government. There was a lot of forces at play, I think, behind the scenes that helps coordinate us too. I'm just fortunate to be here and be able to go do it again, but it's certainly a very disheartening challenge experience.
At least you were lucky the boat was heading to Argentina, right? The boat that rescued you.
Yeah, I started neighboring towards Argentina because I was about 700 miles offshore, and there was a tanker that was coming from actually the Middle East. They were coming into Argentina, so they ended up being able to turn around and come get me, and then I was only 2.5 days from Argentina.
Yeah, you could have found a boat going to Hong Kong. It would have been a lot longer. Certainly, I guess one of the most difficult aspects is how far you had arrived into the race. And I think another very difficult aspect is to find the motivation to do it all over again. The campaign, the boat, the preparation, everything, knowing you'd already been 80% of the way. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's been a long personal journey to even get to the point of being able to take on the race again. And I really put a lot into the last campaign, and it was, I mean, I was in third place 80% of the way around the world, the big road. Like it was so disheartening to see all of them just end catastrophically and end so quickly. It's just one moment, it was done. And really, if I had made it past the weather system that broke my rig, that was really the last big hurdle. It would have been then further north away from danger, and it was really almost smoothed down to the finish. And so I was really so close to finishing and to not finish. Just, yeah, really a challenging experience. But to find the motivation, it's just that I set out to do something and to come so close and really not achieve the goal is, I think, just motivation that I really just even more experience to just try to finish.
Okay, we'll come back to this, but can you please send the video?
There's a piece of audio.
El sonido. There's a problem.
Sorry. Consider key footage.
The slight problem with the sound, so it's not the music he chose for this marketing.
You go to RonnieSimpsonRacing.com and see that.
So the trailer, this video that is prepared, you can watch him on RonnieSimpson.com with the interview and the speech and the music. Well, Ronnie, you promised you come back to get something better than this medal, which you still deserve. And I wanted to come back to the hard reality of having to do it all over again and find the motivation. And I know he's gone through a lot of thinking about whether to enter the next edition or not. And I want to recognize the effort that you had to go through mentally in deciding to do it all over again, and a little encouragement for all the work that you have to do again to go a little further than this 80% to the finish. And so I called it the Perseverance Award. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Marco.
With this, we finished the list of those that, unfortunately, for various reasons and with tremendous stories, was to retire. And we move on to those who did finish. And please come on stage, Louis Robin. Alors Louis, j'ai bien noté ici que tu étais le plus jeune au départ, c'est ça?
C'est ça, oui.
C'est ChatGPT qui a écrit ça. Elle a écrit que tu étais le plus jeune au de 16 ans.
J'avais 17 ans.
17. Moins le 1 en avant, 0 à l'arrière. Donc, la participation de Louis Robin au GSC a été extraordinaire. Tu as rencontré beaucoup de problèmes pendant la course, mais tu nous as raconté avant et après la course ton expérience dans la Figaro, quand tu naviguais dans la Figaro, où tu avais appris à jamais te retirer et à continuer jusqu'au but, parce que si tu termines, tu seras dernier, mais tu termines quand même. Et tu as démontré ça dans la Global Solo Challenge. Et parle-nous un peu de ton expérience.
Effectivement, moi, j'ai pas trop d'expérience de coureur au départ. Et j'ai fait de l'autodidacte. Et quand j'ai tenté dans le Figaro, c'était pour me tester personnellement solidaire sans savoir exactement ce que je faisais. Une fois que Figaro, c'est des choses que je faisais. Dans une si je ne sais pas, je pour la sécurité de la course et de faire en expérience pour voir si je le plus effectivement, toujours été de finir souvent dernier. Une ou deux fois, j'ai promis que je ne serais pas dernier, donc j'ai fait 2 derniers fois. Mais bon, pour moi, c'était aussi vraiment il y avait une super justement dans la particularité de mais moi,
Well, just a brief summary of what he said. He's talking about his Figaro days, because before the GSC, actually, Louis Robin participated in 8 editions, 8 editions of the Figaro, but he wasn't really a hardcore French racer. He took part because he wanted to, and what he learned and what he showed during his participations in the Figaro is that if you don't give up, you will finish, and it will be a result nonetheless. And he took part to these 8 editions, and he showed during the GSC that he's a really tough sailor. He faced all sorts of problems, and he overcame them every time, and continued throughout. And he had an incident near Ushuaia, where he ran aground after rounding Cape Horn. He was exhausted, and he was rescued by the Argentinian Navy. And then he restarted from Ushuaia and made it all the way. Parle-nous de ton accident ici sur la plage. Tu voulais aller en vacances?
C'est pas tout à fait ça. Bon, ça faisait quand même que 3 semaines que je parlais avec les pieds parce que j'avais plus de pilote, plus de barre, juste une petite barre. Et comme j'étais obligé d'être dehors, je ne pouvais pas surveiller bien. J'avais juste vu qu'il suffisait que je monte la côte et entre, vous voyez, à 100 mètres, un peu de soleil, la nuit, normalement, j'ai vu côte, effectivement, un trou qui me semblait être le point de Dover. Et c'était c'était la place qu'il faisait tellement sombre que je n'avais pas vu quand j'ai touché. Et donc,
After rounding Cape Horn, he was exhausted because he had broken his autopilot and he was sailing with the emergency tiller, which was tied with the rope, and he was stepping on it with his foot to steer the boat. And after rounding Cape Horn, he was sailing up to Ushuaia. And then he followed the coast. His chart plotter was down below. He couldn't look at it from the cockpit with no autopilot. It was dark, windy, and in following the coast and thinking he was entering the Beagle Channel towards Ushuaia, he actually entered the bay and didn't realize he was sailing towards a beach. And then when he realized it was too late, and he ran aground, and he couldn't free himself, and so he was rescued. I want to say that the public came in to help Louis because the rescue wasn't free, and there was a big invoice to pay, and the public came to help Louis Robin to pay this bill. Je raconte que les Argentiniens, ils t'ont tiré jusqu'à Ushuaia, mais c'était assez cher. Et donc, que le public t'a aidé pour payer
c'est remarquable, oui.
le remorquage.
Je remercie encore tout le monde qui m'a aidé là-dessus. Je ne m'y attendais pas du tout. Alors, du coup, j'ai été logé par la marine argentine, où je ne savais pas ce que c'était que le chauffage là-bas, donc c'était pas évident. Et au fond de mon lit, Margot qui me dit, ben, je pas au courant, il y a des gens qui essaient de t'aider. Je dis, ben, pas du tout. Et c'est lui qui m'a appris que, effectivement, moi, j'avais négocié que en se débrouiller à droite et à gauche, mais j'ai pas eu de dommage, j'avoue, qu'il y a pas mal de gens dans cette famille et qui m'ont permis de partir les équipes.
Because when he was after the accident and he was taken to Ushuaia by the military ship, I called him and I said, you know, we getting donations through the website for to help with the costs of what happened, and he had no idea because he's not on Instagram every day, and. He had no idea, and the public came in. He had more than 15,000 euros to pay to the Argentinian Navy, and eventually the public donated more than twice that amount to help him out. And he had to tell his friends he needed to borrow money and repay it back out of his pension when he came home, but eventually didn't need to. And he's thanking everyone for the funds they received to complete his circumnavigation. There is a video that we're gonna see.
Dit weer op het van die wet.
Mesdames et messieurs, Mirabel! Merci, Louis.
Merci à toi d'avoir venu.
Merci. Next, please come to the stage, David Linger from the United States. The other way. You had a few issues during your race. The first one, I think, made you be in pain for a very long night. Tell us what happened in the South Atlantic.
Well, there several things happened to me, but the one that Marco refers to is before I left, I had passed 2 of 3 kidney stones, and so I ended up spending one very long evening on Thanksgiving, so that'd be just north of Cabo Verde, right around there, passing a kidney stone, and it wasn't very much fun, but I had passed 2 before, so I knew that it was just going to be a really rough night. I had my wife on the phone and my sister, who was an RN, also. I never did call the Mesos in the UK, which was my on-call medical service, who I paid for the journey. And I also bought a very nice first aid kit from Mesos. And I never thought to call them about it because I had my sister, who was an RN, and my wife on the phone, and she was with me for another kidney stone. Yeah, just toughed it out. It was, I thought it was the meal I had ate for Thanksgiving, a celebratory meal, but it turned out it wasn't. Marco's write-up of me for the event makes it all sound like I had all kinds of issues. Yeah, I got thrown across the boat and I fractured my ribs as well. In the cockpit, but not inside, like Cole's fairly famous video. I just will have a great video of myself falling across the cockpit of the boat, the big breaking wave, getting it, landing on the end of the tiller. But yeah, Marco made my journey sound like it was all doom and gloom, sort of. It didn't write it, but it did have that's a better volume. I don't do mine very often. But I had a wonderful experience. Marco's initial sales pitch for the event had struck a nerve and was something that I had thought about for my whole life. Ever since I was a very young boy, there was a Brit named Chichester who sailed around the world. There was in the U.S. there was a young guy in California, Robin Lee Graham, who eventually sailed all the way around the world. These were all inspirations and yeah, Marco's pitch was a pretty good one, and I had a lot of really good experiences doing the voyage, besides the kidney stones, the fractured rib, and then Marco will mention it, but I'll just I also had a technical difficulty in between Nemo and Cape Horn, where I was hit by another big breaking wave like the one that did the ribs in, but it had a second crest to it. So while the boat was laid over, the mainsail filled up with water and it just broke the boom sideways. So yeah, but I also had a lot of really wonderful sailing. That whole long started hack of the Atlantic is long. Yeah, the whole thing. I'm really you come up with for this. But that's the start.
Yeah.
Now there's a problem for me with flares at the finish.
Do I have it?
I don't know.
I have this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That picture. I'm only a presentation. But I usually start out with that one because it just kind of cuts the chase. I finished the event. And I'm not French, and I don't do the flare very often, so it's kind of interesting because you're balancing on the back of the boat, not hooked in, two flares, the boat's on autopilot, and Marco is yelling at me to look at the camera.
Of course, that's your life photo.
So the fact my family's in the rig with Marco, I'm trying to balance the back of the boat, not fall off, not burn holes in anything. And then Marco's yelling at me that I need to look at the camera because the flares don't last very long. So yeah.
I don't remember that, but that's a good memory. You do. You didn't submit the video, yeah?
No, I didn't do a video, but
Okay, we don't have a video, so big round of applause for David. Congratulations in sixth place. This is for the living room.
yeah, I also have to I do have to thank my chief couture, my wife Lillian. Can you stand up? Because I'm gonna be when I was in Maine getting ready for my qualifier and Maine Yacht Center with Lillian for the good guys. I think Lily actually left town because she wasn't convinced that I was going to leave Maine to start on my qualifier. And anyway, so eventually I finally just picked a day that there aren't any hurricanes in the Atlantic. I need to go to Spain. But she also put together my broken boom rescue in Argentina. I sailed the last 4 days to Cape Horn with no boom on the mainsail, just jibing a double reef stacked with battens back and forth across my cowl, which was fun. And then I motored up the Vigo Channel to Ushuaia while Lillian flew with a carbon fiber to Buenos Aires and then got in a RAV4 with two fabulous gentlemen from Buenos Aires who were carbon fiber guys. And they drove 3,000 kilometers south of Buenos Aires to Ushuaia so I could get my boom repaired professionally. It was an amazing bit of logistics. And yeah, I just want to thank Mom and me again.
Thank you, David.
And Marco. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't brought it up.
Thank you, David. Next, please come, Francois Gowan. We'll do it in English, so we don't have to translate.
No, okay.
You'll try.
Spanish.
Spanish. Okay. Francois Gowan finished in fifth place and was the first of the skippers, or the last effectively of the skippers, who finished without stops. So that's a further achievement within the achievements. And your campaign was centered around also as a social message around your work as an oncology surgeon. You raised with the name Kawan Unicancer. And it is something that you care a lot about professionally, and the promotion of physical activity as for cancer patients as a means also to prevent cancer, which is something that maybe I should listen to, considering my shape. Anyway, you had some issues, not as big, evident as those of others, but I'll tell this small anecdote. He was sailing just before Cape Town, and he had a problem with his mainsail track. And he was really tired, and he called me and he said, "Oh, I have to stop in Cape Town because my mainsail track is broken." And I could hear he was a bit agitated and really tired. So I said, "Francois, first of all, go to sleep, rest, and then we'll speak tomorrow because you sound quite tired." And the next day, he didn't call me. And then I called him and said, "Look, what's going on?" So, "Oh, fine, fixed, I'm going." And he didn't stop.
Yes, in fact, because one of the major problems I had,
Yeah.
3 times, first time it was nothing. And it was really challenging to fix it. I tried in the afternoon, I spent 3 hours on the mat, and we tried to put some glue and some spoons, but it was impossible. And that's why I told you I have to start it but no other way to fix my track. And fortunately, the weather was pretty good because of the winter, and I climbed up again on Mars, and I spent 6 hours with 6 schools. It was really, really interesting, and then it was perfect. And in the ocean, I brought it another place, but it's more easier to fix it. And the last time it was a third
Yes.
in back, and that it was able to fix it because it was too high and too long. And as you know, I finished in 3 weeks.
They couldn't hoist the mainsail anymore. Yeah. So We have a video, so let's watch your video.
Excellent.
Yep.
It's a teaser of our film. A small video.
Let's hear it from Francois.
True.
They already got one cup, so this is a reminder cup.
Thank you very much.
And myself today, for giving us the opportunity to
Achieve our dream, our children dreams. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next in the line of those who finished without stops, the young Italian Riccardo Tosetto. We'll do it in Swedish. So you didn't have any major problems.
Yes, the biggest problem of my trip was not unique. Because my name was not too fast. He said push and the same wrong at every time. So many issues, not the biggest one. What kind of so compatible on the 6 months, and to be sure to complete, to be able to complete with all the parts. The issue are big, maybe not like big, a lot of problem with energy, either generator, I have no solar panel. Today for living, I saw around going another things with the old I bring it with me, and they say me my lawyer because they don't want to do either generator, use the old solar panel from around.
Thank you, Riccardo. We have a video from you, and then we'll go back to your repairs at sea. Let's hear it for Ricardo.
I want to say thanks to Mark for this race because I dream about the work with solar, especially this type of dream for quite all of my life. I see all the news for French failure, also French failure, and with my dream, but it's not possible to do with a regatta like with the dog, so making expensive or something like that. And it was a very, very nice regatta. I meet many people, many friends, and thanks for.
Thank you. Before you go, I just there's one aspect that I want to talk a little bit further, which is during your race you were able to fix everything on board.
Because I started with a 3 hour.
And I decided that you should be awarded for your repair skills on board with a special award for precision mechanics.
Before the start doing the control, and he say, why you have 3 hours, 3 different hours, you need just one. I say, I don't go around the world with just one. I need minimum 3.
Riccardo, t'ho detto. In second place, no, sorry. In third place, Andrea Mura, please come. Andrea is a lifelong professional sailor, more than 50 years of experience. He has won many famous races. He holds records in many races, like the Roma per Uno. He's won the Route du Rhum. He's won the All-Star twice, correct? He holds.
2-star.
He's won the 2-star. He holds the record on the Quebec Saint-Malo race on for 50-foot boats, and many others. So Andrea
Americas, yeah.
is yes, of course. This before running 2 Olympic campaigns, 3 Olympic campaigns on dinghies when he was a bit younger, and then he participated in an Italian America's Cup campaign on Il Moro di Venezia, and he really all his life has been dedicated to sailing. So when he called saying that he wanted to do the Global Solo Challenge, it was truly an honor for the race. And he came quite late. I think it was around May before the start, something that only someone with great experience and a boat that has done the globe before, and when 50s were still allowed. He has an open 50. And with just months to the start, he decided to enter. But given his great experience, he managed to put together the campaign in a very short space of time. He didn't have the chance to optimize the boat for the format of the event. So I guess he has some regrets because he knows he can do better. And that's why we hope that he will be back in the event. And given the staggered start format, he was the last one to start several weeks after everyone else, 3 weeks after the class 40s. And he finished third, but he holds the course record now for the fastest time of the race now at 120 days, 2 hours and 44 minutes. Andrea Mura.
First of all, thanks to give all of us the opportunity to do around the world with our robots, because the formula was the best. It was a very big opportunity, and because of that, I was almost fighting because the main sponsor was not confirmed at the end of the budget, and we decided after the deadline, which was almost 2 months before the start, we decided to prepare the goals. And that was really scary because I knew that it was almost more than almost impossible to prepare. It should be forbidden to prepare a boat in 2 months. And but we decided to do it, and with some small sponsor friends, and and it's been really tough to cut in sleeping in the night for preparing the boat in these 2 months. I closed the sale after 2 months, and they prepared 3 new sales for me in 2 months, working 7 days a week. And I had no time to check the weather forecast, the charts, prepare it. We did all the food in the last 24 hours before leaving with the batch. We've been to the supermarket, we buy everything in three cars. We spent 3,000 euro for the food, and we put on board like this. Was really, and even the certificate of GSC, we had no time to work on, and we used an old one, and we lost at least 1 week because the rating was that. But anyway, even it was lower, we couldn't start before because the boat was not ready. And so it's been a long trip from Sardinia to Coruña. We had against the wind along towards the Gibraltar, and it's been really everything really difficult against everything. I mean, the race for me has been almost a party of this history, and thanks to my wife because imagine that 3 times during these 2 months I decided to stop because I was too much scared because my head said this is impossible to prepare. This means to search the depth and to search to use the boats because it's not possible to prepare all the water to know. And we prepared the boat in 80%, and 8% was perfect. I don't break anything. But in the other 20%, we left like clean the wings, some electric things that was everything perfect and was working. We break everything. And this is why we stopped several times for several hours for not towing because one boat was almost loose, but very little, and we have 10, 11 bolts inside. So the screen is flickering, no more phone call, the autopilot of the standby, the boat jive. Very dangerous thing for very stupid things because we don't have time. We were fighting with the time in this preparation. But at the end, my wife take me apart and say, I mean, you have to do it this war. Somehow you have to do it around the world because if you don't do it, I cannot stand with you anymore in the life. So thanks to her, they pushed me, and we decided to make hypothec to our house to get the money. We auto financial at the end the expense of the race, the campaign, and our friend that we have here, Marisa and Sandro, helped me. They support me, or they could do it still with other friends, and we have the base for keep going and decide to do it. So sorry if I'm focusing in this history, but was the main difficult part of this round the world. But the call from the sea was too strong to skip it.
Let's hear it for Andrea. Incredible. We have a video.
Point over.
Aspetta, puoi parlare.
We were closing to Cape Horn,
was almost 47, 50 knots with 4 reef. And no jib. And that was really bad. And one wave the day after break the spray wood that was really, really strong, made with very good material, but it looks the stainless steel like it was Hulk with his foot crash the spray wood. A disaster. And the stainless steel came inside the Kevlar, and it was raining inside. We didn't. Gigi Riva was the socket father of the boat. And I tried to repair and stitch the plastic was so strong I was able to stitch. We were jumping and jumping. That was come si dice, carnevale. The carnival, yeah, for my kids. 369 miles in 24 hours, thanks to the autopilot. Plastic. And I lost the runner. 44 degrees and 75% of humidity. We were beating Miami. And the bolt, the bolt underneath was a little loose and no current. It's been a nightmare. But now the auto radio was working again. It's some music. We are going faster, 13 knots toward Coruña. The winch, the 20% of the part we didn't check was completely locked with the salt. 515 miles toward Coruña. And today is the 70. Vuoi tradurlo tu? What we learned for 120 days at sea. The first word is the love. The love for the sea, the love for the ambience, for us, and for the life. The second word was the respect for the sea, for the people, for us, and especially for the life. Those two words I will keep with me in my head for the rest of the life, because the imprinting was really impressive. It will be a new life. Colbrauer. And I gave to her the gold of Sardinia, the Botarga. Thanks to all. Let's really hear it for Andrea. What a fantastic campaign. And always smiling. Thank you, Andrea. Ah, no, no, Andrea. I forgot your surprise. We want to celebrate, as we explained to one, the format of the race is such that because we had the fast boat, you started later, maybe a lot later than the others, but you currently hold the record for the fastest time in the Global Solo Challenge. And I hope then you will come back to defend it in the future. Congratulations, Andrea. Thanks. To be back again. In second place, we had the extraordinary Cole Brower, who couldn't be here tonight. Her campaign was extremely successful. She's a star in sailing now, and we were glad to be part of her campaign as the race that brought her to fame. And we wish her the brightest of future as a professional sailor. So let's anyway do a round of applause for Cole Brower. But now let's hear it for Philip, the winner of the Global Solo Challenge 2023-2024. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I would be more than happy to say something.
So what was your experience? I know you really enjoyed doing this race.
I did you're the tight read, and I was not too much worried, too much afraid of anything, because I lived the whole race as a child. I was a child, making every day a new day, waking up, saying, wow, I'm going again, one more day, and one more day. That was great, just a child dream.
That's fantastic. And he lost the satellite communication very early on in the race. So he didn't communicate with the external world or very little. And he just went there and sailed and sailed and sailed and sailed very well. I mean, Francois' campaign was extraordinary. It all started with incredible preparation. He worked together with, or at least had some advice from the great Jean-Luc Van den Hede, and he prepared the boat impeccably with new electronics and really inside out, everything was geared towards the race. You know, there were no comforts on board, and he set out to do well in the race, and he did do well. And he's the sailor that sailed the least amount of miles in the entire race, almost 1,800 miles less than the competitor in second place, which is really remarkable. And his routing was impeccable. And when the going got tough, he kept going. He didn't stop at Cape Horn. There was a big storm, which he could have avoided, but he decided to go for it. And towards the end, I almost had an argument with him because he was first by 10 days, the second boat was 10 days behind, and there was a huge storm by A Coruña, and he could have easily avoided it and slowed down, and there was absolutely no reason to take any risk. But no, Philippe just went for it, and he arrived in huge waves, and it was incredible to see you, and incredible again for Philippe.
So close. That he certain they reach the technology, but the people that we love, we say, it's people. He was really, really trust.
You should have heard your friends ashore. I was being the nice one.
But actually, not the very the day before, when he speaks, and then and I called him, it was this. Then I called him, I said, Pablo, no, yes, right. He goes and all that, all. And you felt you want that. And you felt the, yeah, but you find, let me find the interest. Remember, what the interest the limit. And you say,
The bearing, yeah.
bearing, you know the bearing. Oh, we're going to do it. Yes.
No, it was really incredible to watch you throughout the race, and I think you need to be a sailor who's been racing to appreciate really just how remarkable your entire circumnavigation was. You thoroughly deserved your victory, and I think your performance will stand a long time in this event as an example of how a perfect race can be sailed and won. Congratulations, Philip. You have a little video? It took away a few things.
Well,
So, Philippe, why do you think you won the race?
When you read that, I think that the main reason that's big gap on the historian and on there is that too little time to get people race. So that is the at the time you report to the event always when you have and so much that the main reason why I always thanks to the other one.
That's modesty. Thank you, Philippe. You get to lift it, but not take it home. Congratulations, Philippe Delamer. You can take home the smaller version.
Much easier than playing.
This one doesn't fit in the handbag. With Ryanair, it's an extra 70 quid to take it home. Thank you again, Philippe. Okay, so this was 23, 24, and now we'll introduce you to the 27, 28 skippers who are here today. Not everyone is attending, but we have a few of them. So can you put on the presentation 27, 28? No? So we currently have 23 entries in the Global Solo Challenge 27-28. We expect more. At the same time, we know that unfortunately not everyone will make it to the start line, but things are looking very good. And the first one to enter is Peter Burke, who actually entered the previous edition, but caught COVID on the way to Europe and couldn't make it. Chris Stanton-Major from the UK, was the second to enter. Marek Lipinski from Poland, Piotr Czarniecki from Poland as well, and Jonathan Massinghill from the United States, and Jérôme Delir, who's here today. Come here, Jérôme. No video, no? No. Ça va, Jérôme? Comment vas-tu avec tes préparations sur ton bateau?
Très bien. I hope just when you want to spare more time and more need to reach the start line, and I hope to cross the start line in relaxed and peaceful, and to have the maximum of preparation. Preparing to them.
And what is your boat?
It's the class 14, the number is 109. It's a Pogo, it's second generation.
And what is your current program? Are you doing any big races this year?
No, we didn't just change them, just be focused to the start of the GSC. So next winter, I just plan to go to the Caribbean and go back just for sail, train, and to be sure that the boat is ready.
And have you met many sailors here in these past few days? And are you enjoying the experience?
Yes, of course, of course. Just say to thank you for this sharing experience, fantastic experience. I think that this event is amazing to compare, to share, to speak about, of course, sailing experience.
That's what sailors do, talk about sailing. Okay, let's give a big applause to encouragement to Jérôme Delia. Thank you. And you can get even one of the posters. This is for your bedroom. You know, instead of a nice lady in a bikini, you get a poster of the previous Global Solo Challenge. Brian Gray from the United States has entered and has actually bought Francois Gouin's boat. So we're going to see the boat coming again. Sam Glover from the United Kingdom is still looking for a boat for the race. We have Fraser Flight from Zimbabwe. We have Marcello Queirolo from Italy, who's here. Marcello. Please send the video. We'll watch his video presentation first. Marcello has already qualified recently for the Global Solo Challenge 27, having completed his 2,000 miles qualifier. How did your voyage go, your trip?
Oh, it was okay. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Problem was that I have to change the route, you know, because there was quite a big storm down Sicily. So agreeing with you, we changed like the schedule for that. For that.
And do you feel nearly there, ready?
The boat, I would say that never is never ready, but it's getting there, and I still have time. There are few things that I still have to do, but uh, yeah, I think that the boat is there. It should be there.
Excellent. And was there any specific sailor in the 23 edition of the race that you followed or inspired you?
I follow all of them, but I am inspired by every what I was following
Louis Robin?
Louis Robin,
Louis Robin?
because he's my hero. He has both similar to mine, and he's been overcoming all the difficulties. I'm very, very uh, at- um,
Inspired by his.
inspired by everybody. But as I said also in the video, I thank to you. You give to us, which have this dream, the possible chance, at least to work for it, to go for it. Yeah.
Thank you, Marcello, and big encouragement and round of applause for your bedroom. And Sylvain Canet was the 11th skipper to enter, who's here today. We don't have a video for you, do we? Yes, we have. Yes. Yes. Sylvain Canet, are you feeling ready? Tu te sens prêt pour la course?
Je me sens prêt. On va dire que j'ai ma to-do list. Sur les 150 tâches de ma to-do list, j'en ai à peu près 30 de faites, donc il en reste encore beaucoup.
Ah oui, c'est toujours la to-do list. Le problème, c'est qu'elle continue à grandir. Elle s'arrête jamais de grandir. Quand tu termines quelque chose, t'en termines une et t'en ajoutes 3.
Et puis après, il faut bien se préparer aussi physiquement, parce que on part pour de longs jours.
Je te donne pas de conseils ce soir, tu m'as dit. Alors, a big round of applause for Sylvain Canet, and congratulations for getting so far. Thank you, Sylvain, and this again for you. Deltri Pickford from South Africa is currently in Ushuaia, and is not attending today, but is entered. We have Ivan Dimov, who actually was ill today and didn't catch his flight from Bulgaria, returning from the previous edition. And Pablo Gonzalez Parodi, who's here. We have a video. So, Pablo, you'll be representing Uruguay. Vamos a hablar español, estamos. Tú representas el Uruguay. ¿Dónde vives ahora?
Yo vivo en Estados Unidos, en Tennessee, pero mi país natal es Uruguay, fue donde crecí y crecí navegando durante muchos años entre Montevideo y Punta del Este. Y luego migré a Estados Unidos, donde continúo navegando de una forma un poco distinta.
Como capitán de barco de crucero.
Sí, como capitán de llave.
Sí.
Es muy diferente.
¿Y ahora te sientes listo por esta vuelta al mundo o tienes mucho trabajo ancora?
Sí, bueno, el barco 106 ya dio 2 vueltas al mundo, entonces era el momento de hacer un perfil enorme. Hemos sacado todo, hasta el último cable, estamos viendo electrónica nueva, sistemas eléctricos, todo rigging nuevo, con trabajo completo, pintura, bajando la quilla, pulmones, y haciendo muchas actualizaciones para mejorar el confort que va a repercutir en seguridad y en performance.
¿Y ya navegaste bastante su este barco?
¿Cómo, perdón?
¿Navegaste su este barco bastante?
Sí, lo compré en Trinidad, Trinidad y Tobago, hice el delivery a Charleston, fueron 2.000 millas. Tuve una muy buena oportunidad para aprender sobre él. Era la primera vez que navegaba en un clase 40 y encima solo, o sea, me salté a bordo, largué los cabos y here we go. Y una muy buena experiencia para aprender sobre el barco en marcha.
Excellent. Let's have a big round of applause and encouragement for Pablo from Uruguay and the United States. And is there, ¿quieres añadir cualquier cosa sobre tu campaña de vela?
Bueno, esta oportunidad, si se concreta, sería el primer uruguayo en navegar alrededor del mundo sin parar y sin escalas. Tengo muchos amigos que han dado la vuelta al mundo en la Whitbread, en el Uruguay Natural, en el 93-94, y cuando eso pasó y alguna parada en Punta del Este de la POC, de la POC, fue lo que me motivó a que un día dije, lo voy a hacer, voy a dar la vuelta al mundo.
Fantástico. Muchas gracias, Pablo. Un pequeño recuerdo.
Gracias.
Gracias.
No lo pasamos.
¿Ah?
El video no lo pasamos.
No pues,
Ok.
creo que está un problema técnico.
No hay problema.
Thank you. Thank you, Pablo. And Ronnie, we've met him earlier. He's entered in the next edition of the race. And Juan, we've also already met today. He's another entry. And Christophe Beaugrand from France, Ross Hubbard from the United States, and Lloyd Davey from the UK. Please, Lloyd, come. So, if I remember correctly, you've been preparing your boat for a while.
Yeah, I'm not, is that working?
Yeah, it will come on.
Is it good? Yeah, I've been preparing for quite a while. As you know, I was signed up for the last race, and it was coming up the back of the 20-year build project that took a little bit longer than it should have. And it was then I found out that the global summer challenge. So I was wondering exactly what I was going to do with the boat once it was finished. So it came along from it.
Yeah. And are you feeling ready this time round?
No, I'm going to get. So I'm in third place. A few years ago, when I left. The boat is finished, which is a good thing. It was the last time that I invented the boat hadn't actually left the shed, so it's still under construction. But in my head, I told myself that it was possible I could do it, and but at the time, the boat had actually been launched and tested. It was evident it was 65. Something with the damage to the bow, and then I realized that it wasn't enough. So this time around, I've done it first. Probably will do the job.
And are you getting the time to sail the boat as well?
Not so this year going to be the year.
Don't skip that part.
This is going to be the year. So I've got a month when I get back. Boats coming out. A month working on it, and then I want to get stuck up to qualify. And once that's done, just get out and say, so this is going to be the real distance.
Excellent. We want to thank you and a big applause to encourage you for your upcoming campaign. Thank you. Ross Hubbard is also entered from the United States. And no, wrong way. I always use it the wrong way. Lloyd Davey, Michał Krista, who's here today. Michał, please come. We have a little video presentation. Mikael, what boat do you plan to use for the race?
I want to use the class 40, and now it's my biggest challenge to buy the boat as soon as possible.
And have you, what previous experience do you have? You sailed in what classes?
My first big experience was with very small boat, Globe 580. I built a boat and was Atlantic and raced Globe 580 transfer. And I have a lot of experience with fast boat, like transporting. There was a video with a small training station on Timoka in Loria. So I'm looking forward to the race start. So I'm very excited.
And you think you'll be ready in time?
Yes.
Yes. Confidence is what it takes. Excellent. Thank you, Mikael, for being here, and good luck with everything for your participation. Thank you. And Hiroki Nakayama from Japan. We have a video.
Yes. I should introduce by myself. I was a climber until 2023, like 3 years ago. And I changed my field from mountain to ocean. So I decided to come to France to do the mini transat. This is the last how to say, I climbed unclimbed mountain in Himalaya, and which is my last goal for the mountaineering in this time. A little bit weird that everyone watching mountain here. So, oh yeah. So this is my mini project. I moved to France in 2024 and stayed there 2 years, and finally I did mini transat. Why I started ocean sailing is I watched the TV, and there's a Kojiro Shiraishi, who is a famous Japanese skipper doing Van de Grove. So I was like brewing my mind, and so that's why I started the sailing. I cook rice every day because I'm Japanese. Yeah. And I eat squid because I'm Japanese.
Some and number 52, 2 weeks ago. Somehow I have to bring my mom to here. It's like a hour. Quite difficult.
So Hiroki has already found a boat. Now he just has to get it to Europe and prepare it. When he was mountain climbing, it was always very cold. And when he did the mini transat, it was just way too nice and warm. And so he said, let's go somewhere where it's cold and miserable. And so he entered the Global Solo Challenge to get cold in the Southern Ocean, because that's going to be really cold and but I guess he's used to it. So as he mentioned, he's already secured the use of Class 40 number 52. So his campaign is well underway. And let's give him a big round of applause as encouragement for his campaign. Okay, we just see the last two of the entrants who are not here, who are Noah Hopper from the United States, sorry, and Ari, who's announcing his entry after today. But we've already met him earlier, and we're sort of running a little bit late on our schedule. So next, I want to introduce Archie Fairley, who is here from the UK as chairman of the International Association of Cape Horners. And he's here to honor the presence of those skippers in the Global Solo Challenge rounded Cape Horn, and also to talk to us about some very important initiatives that the association is undertaking to promote safety at sea. But please, let's hear it for Archie, and then he'll speak. Yes. Up to you, whatever you want to present, whatever you want to talk. And this is your slides. Forward. That's forward. Lovely. Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'd like to thank Marco of the Global Solar Challenge and the Real Club, Nautico de Vigo, for the opportunity to talk to you today about the Cape Horners and our planned Ocean Safety Symposium in autumn 2027, which was an idea dreamt up by Sir Robin Knox-Johnson, our president. Marco is on our committee. The IECH was founded in 1936 by the skippers of the old clipper boats, moving cargoes quickly from the Far East to Europe via Cape Horn. Its purpose was to promote and strengthen the ties of comradeship, which had together the unique body of men, tied together, I should say, the unique body of men and women who enjoy the distinction of having voyaged round Cape Horn under sail. Membership is open to individuals of all nationalities who have rounded Cape Horn. I think I've missed. Well, under sail of a non-stop passage of at least 3,000 nautical miles, which passes above the latitude of 52 degrees south in both the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean, and is completed without the use of engines for propulsion. Since Cape Horn was discovered in 1616, over 800 ships have foundered in the waters, many without trace, resulting in the loss of an estimated 10,000 lives. Since Edmund Hillary climbed Mount Everest in 1953, 6,500 climbers have scaled Everest. By contrast, less than a third of that number have sailed round Cape Horn under our eligibility rules. Our president, on the right here, Sir Robin Knox-Johnson, in 1969, was the first solo non-stop circumnavigator taking 312 days, of which for 165, no one knew he was there. Well, where he was, I should say. So Robin donated his winning prize money, which in those days was £5,000, to the family of another competitor, Donald Crowhurst, who unfortunately committed suicide in the race after attempting to fake his round-the-world voyage. It was an incredibly generous thing for Sir Robin to do. Our vice president is Jean-Luc Van den Heede, the famous French sailor on the left here, who has circumnavigated the globe via the Horn 12 times and is the fastest westabout sailor. Charlie Dillon, sorry, my apologies. Just it's all right. All right, I lost my pizza. Charlie Dillon on here was inducted into our Hall of Fame last November in 2025. He took just under 65 days on the Vendée Globe race 10th edition. An amazing feat, as he had been diagnosed with cancer prior to the race, but kept it quiet, but set up a medical sport team to advise him when racing, and won the race in a record time of 65 days. Now, the contrast between Sir Robin, who was the first person to go round, and Charlie, of 312 days against 65 days, is remarkable and reflects where technology has taken us. We have partnerships with the Ocean Race, the Ocean Globe Race, the Golden Globe Race, and the Global Solar Challenge and World Star 26. And we are developing a partnership with the Vendée Globe Race, with whom we held a highly successful Hall of Fame induction at the start of the last race. We hold an annual Hall of Fame event to which some of the 23-24 Global Solar Challenge skippers actually attended when we held it at the start of the Vendée Globe race. You will probably recognize a few of them with all these famous sailors' names there as well. We have also set up a solo and multi-cruise circumnavigation registers on our website. The solo, with no support, has now got 227. So those of you who completed this race are part of that 227 people who've actually done this. We have a solo supported, in other words, with stops register of 158. And our register for the crewed races is over 2,000 names. I'd now like to just touch on our Ocean Safety Symposium, which is coming in 2027. And listen to all your amazing stories just now. This symposium will have huge relevance as we go forward. We've convened a group of the top highly respected sailors to drive the project. We've got Stan Honey from the USA, Dilip Dond from India, Skip Novak from America, Tapio Lehtinen from Finland, Roger Nielsen from Sweden, Sir Robin himself, Barry Picktall, who's a famous yachting journalist, Richard de Mullen from the USA, and Alistair Hackett from the USA. These are all very, very famous names. One of the extraordinary strengths of the association is that it holds a concentration of lived experience that simply does not exist anywhere else. And this experience is not Sorry. This experience is not theoretical, procedural, or abstract. It is situational. It is judgment-based and often uncomfortable, and usually acquired the hard way. The challenge is not whether this experience is valuable. It clearly is. The challenge is how to ensure it remains accessible, relevant, and usable beyond individual conversations and events. Most safety material in sailing focuses on equipment, rules, or processes. We wish to influence significantly the preparedness and training of sailors, alerting them to the dangers and emergencies through to understanding the equipment to have aboard, the boat construction, and what can be done to make ocean sailing safer. What is much harder to capture, and arguably far more important, is how experienced sailors think. What they notice first, what they worry about quietly, and what mistakes they see repeated, and how judgment changes under fatigue, pressure, and isolation. Our ambitious idea to harness the collective experience of all the Cape Horners to advise sailors in the future, like yourself, without requiring any individual to be on call, present, or even alive. This is not about replacing mentors, instructors, or seamanship training. It is about offering real-time advice at sea. It is about preserving and structuring accumulated experience so that it can be consulted thoughtfully and responsibly when it matters. Imagine a future sailor asking questions such as what tends to go wrong just before the conditions become extreme. What do experienced sailors consistently underestimate? Where does confidence tip into complacency? And what mistakes are most common in the first minutes after abandoning your boat? The answers should not be generic instructions. They would be grounded in recorded experience from talks, papers, interviews, and reflections already contributed by the Cape Horners. And they would create patterns and disagreements and cautions rather than certainties. In practical terms, this could take the form of a carefully governed AI seamanship reference source, a structured interactive archive of experience that reflects how seasoned sailors actually reason, not just what the manuals prescribe. It would speak in human language, not technical jargon, and it would be explicit about uncertainty, context, and limits. We also intend to shine a light on the facts and incidents where avoidable death and injury occur repeatedly, often needlessly so, and the lessons learned. Moving away from secrecy, blame, and fragmented investigations, encouraging open, evidence-based discussion of incidents and near misses, combining lived offshore experience with modern research and analysis, influencing insurers, regulators, designers, builders, and sailors through the credibility rather than regulation. Importantly, this vision respects both tradition and restraint. Nothing is published without consent. Nothing speaks beyond its source material, and no individual is misrepresented or put forward as giving instructions. The emphasis is on preserving judgment, not automating decisions. AI is an important part of this, and we've initiated a pilot project to create our own AI forum, which will be reported on at this symposium. These are the key speakers there, who I've already mentioned. And the those are the topics that are going to be discussed. Now, listen to all your stories, your amazing stories. I think all of these topics could help and will help future solo round the world sailors. And for us, it's an exciting project. I've just think the next one's in Spanish. There we are. I hope it's right. I don't know. The location of the symposium, we haven't decided yet, but we are looking for sponsors. And if anyone has any bright ideas or people they might know, please do get in touch with us. Thank you very much indeed for listening. And that's you know who to call? You know who to call. You know who to call.
What's it?
You know who to call.
Okay. That's what you were gonna call. Okay, so last but not least, here we're gonna honor those that became Cape Horners during the circumnavigation. The first one that we're gonna call is Ronnie Simpson, who rounded Cape Horn, and unfortunately, we know the story of what happened afterwards. But we hope that this flag is a good omen for his next upcoming circumnavigation. Stay on stage. Stay on stage. Yeah. Now, Louis Robin, who had his incident in Ushuaia and was given dispensation from the traditional rules as a testimony to the expanding views of the Association of Cape Horners, and he's now a full member and the circumnavigator and in the register. Then David Linger. Francois Gowan. Is this Francois? Oh, sorry. Riccardo Tosetto.
We do.
Andrea Mura. And our golden boy, Philippe Delamare. We also, oh, wait, there's one more. Last year, also Alessandro Tosetti, who rounded Cape Horn after his interruption in his circumnavigation.
Thank you so much.
We done? We talked about safety and we've talked about some very difficult situations that competitors had to face. And these days we started a discussion for a future collaboration that we hope to will take us to a place where we can discuss the safety beyond the terms of what we've discussed so far. Here among us is an architect who, throughout his life, has worked with bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is something that I hold very dear because one, I would say, the greatest and biggest memory that I have in my entire life at sea is when I was sailing in the Ostar. And then when I was on the Grand Banks of Newfoundland, where the water is cold and full of life, suddenly I see the sea literally was sparkling with light. And I could see these tunnels of lights. And I thought, you know, what's happening to me? I'm tripping. But instead, these were dolphins swimming underwater, and the water was so rich of plankton that it was luminescing like this and was creating this play of light. And it was a night without moon and was covered, so there was no light from the stars. And the spectacle was the one that I remember most fondly at sea. Bioluminescence is something that is beautiful to see, and that's why this architect that now we're going to reveal has integrated in some of his great work could also become a safety element on boat, where safety equipment can be marked inside the boat to make sure that a sailor can find the equipment he needs, and the door handles, the doors, the bulkheads, in a situation where all power is lost. So let me introduce you again to Alessandro Tosetti, who's obviously a competitor in the last edition of the Global Solo Challenge, but his life and work as an architect has meant he has worked extensively in this field. Alessandro Tosetti.
Thank you very much. And okay, you might what you see is a bioluminescence, and you might ask why this guy is coming here to talk about bioluminescence. It could be an homage to the Austin region of Galicia, where this phenomenon is very well known and very powerful. But also, it is one of my passion. I dedicated long time of professional activities to develop patterns, perfection, the use of natural pigments, and realizing installation all over the world. The bioluminescence is a phenomenon well known by the humanity since ever, because these are creatures from the deepest part of the sea that you might have met sailing around, and those are the fireflies from a bush. And this effect is just a chemical energy being transformed into photons, then light. In the recent time, they've been discovered and developed materials that absorb light during the day and emit again the light in the dark period. There are basically two kinds of pigments that we call the yellow and the blue. Surprisingly, the blue one, they appear as in a whitish, very uncommon color. Those pigments were at the beginning made with phosphorus, dangerous, harmful, radioactive. They've been withdrawn from the market in the early 90s. When, at the end of 90s, they start developing a new generation of pigment, much more long-lasting, much more powerful, and made with minerals. They called alkaline earth aluminates. So since then, I start working, developing, and patenting the way of combine them with construction material in residential, urban, and also yacht design environment. This gives you an idea of the potential. You can imagine that a space with this number of glowing dots allows you to move into the space without the needs of lighting up the artificial light. So is inducting to an energy saving habit. Those are different. What we are working as architectural practice is to combine not only the safety and the energy saving aspect, but also to enhance those aspects with the design, telling them a story. So then we improve the aspect of psychological support, because for us, this is in a shaped cluster of dots. But from the person who committed, who was a jeweler that cuts diamonds, those lines represent in itself his own work. And so is reassuring, is supporting. This is the pathway in Cornwall from a contest I won a few years ago. And this path is being submerged usually by the water, so it couldn't be really enlightened naturally. That was the solution, and it's been held together with an artist. It's called the work "No Earth Under the Foot," and effectively walking on this path was giving the feeling of walking on nothing. Cycle path in Netherlands, the Zen garden of the Rio Anji in Kyoto. We were missing glowing pebbles to the sand, and the master was combing every day, making a new design. So telling his story every day. Those are samples that give the idea of the versatility of the usage of these elements. On yacht design, we can work on all details that you can imagine on this yacht. There is no need to light up the lights, and you are always in a walkable and safe place. On the floor, this is a refurbishment held by an architect professor of the University of Porto that we have been used as a sample to teach to the young designer on how to use this element to enhance the safety and the possibility to be on the water. I did use these materials very simply on my boat during the race, and I was very happy to have it. So this is my idea of to spread with other skippers the possibility to do the same, and they will be available to support them, providing them uh, glowing dots and advice on how to use it and where to place them. This is the bow. There are no bulbs, no wiring, nothing than a piece element sticked on the deck. I need to be clear. Here in my studio, they want to please me, and they transform this image that is real with a beautiful sky full of stars and Photoshopping this. But be aware of that. When the moon in the sky is like a big pizza pie, yeah, there is no need for these devices. These devices are meant for the dark, for the moment where you really get lost, but you got this eternal light surrounding you and supporting to find your place again. This work is being done with a laboratory with the children. We produce a number of glowing dots in line with the global Solo Challenge environmental purpose. So we have been recycling all the mold, and the boys were pouring in a bioresin together with pigments that have been used to enlighten streets of an almost abandoned area of the town. With those elements, I arrived in Coruña for the start, and I met Cole that was complaining that she didn't have on board a Christmas tree. So that's the story. For us, those are 5 glowing dots. For her, it represents the Christmas tree and the world that surround the idea of the Christmas in the middle of the ocean alone. The new owner of First Light sent me an image where was telling that she had those spots on the companionway. She found it when she bought the boat, and she was very happy. She didn't remove them. She told me that they are magical, reassuring, and calming. So, finally, I would say that this kind of device, properly used, enhance the safety on board because you can move around without any other support of light. So in tough conditions, energy saving because they induct to not to light the electrical lights when needed, the emotional comfort that goes with the design together, and above all, for this kind of utilization, the easy installation. There are no requirements. So my idea is to produce with the boys a number of these elements that I would gift together with my advices to the skipper who want it in a way that can take the advantage of this solution. Thank you. One thing note about
Well, that certainly combines aesthetics with safety because those images were stunning. And thank you, Alessandro, for your presentation. I think it's a great idea to add these elements on a boat because, and they look stunning as well. So thank you. Now we conclude our day with something completely different, something about traditions and we want to welcome some of the members or cofrades of the Cofradia Europea della Vela. We mention them as those who helped us create the relations to come here to Vigo. So we are grateful to the work that they did, because ultimately the world nowadays works around relations. If you have friends, if you establish relations, you can create great things. And I think we are very happy to be here in Vigo. And it all started with the contact with the Grand Mastre of the Cofradia Europea della Vela, Paco Quiroga. And so we're going to meet some of the cofrades now, and who are going to welcome as new friends of the Cofradia the current and past skippers of the Global Solo Challenge. So thank you for your patience through this very long day of presentations, and let's welcome the Cofradia Europea della Vela.